Hey, YouTube. Vamos, amigos. Don't know where my glasses are. Might have left them on the trip. But we're back. We're back at home. We got the green screen behind me. We got the Euro page up and ready to roll. Of course, we still have Elite Fantasy to thank for all of these free videos. Thank you for those of you who put up with the sound quality and the actual overall video from yesterday. I appreciate the thumbs up for those of you who did. Let's jump back on that train. Let's try to get at least 15 likes on this video. We'll be previewing Sunday's action, 2 games in the Euro 2020, breaking them down from every perspective in about 10 minutes. That's the goal. So let's get right to it. Here are the games that we have going on. Obviously, Holland versus Czech Republic. Belgium v. Portugal there at 3 p.m. Eastern here in the U.S. Well, how do we get here? Let's start with the top. Belgium wins all 3 games in group play as predicted, but it wasn't as simple as we'd think. We'll talk about why. Netherlands, of course, wins all 3 games. Big favorite here coming up on Sunday as well. 8-2, coasted home, basically gave up 2 goals to Ukraine and were flawless ever since. And got some rotation in late. Maybe that'll play a part. How about the Czech Republic finishing 3rd on 4 points thanks to their win over Scotland and draw with Croatia. How'd they get here? We'll talk about that as well. And then finally, Portugal in the group of death. Wasn't easy. Came down to the last second. But 4 points, plus 1 goal differential, and they get through to the match. So let's talk about Netherlands versus Czech Republic. Number one, I'm not sure this is how Holland's going to line up. I actually expect Malen to start with Depay. They're the best as far as on the break. The thing is, the Czechs might set up deep, so Weghorst makes sense from that perspective. We're getting into these areas and putting balls in the box. Depay's dropping deep, certainly for set pieces. 6'5" guys are pretty good to have in and around a deep lying back line. Van Aanholt, I'm not sure of the obsession with him, but he's fine until Wijndal comes in. De Roon likely to take his place back in the first 11. So good at breaking up play, protecting that back 3. Next to Frankie de Jong and the rejuvenated Gini Wijnaldum, who's played 90 minutes in all 3 of their matches thus far. So we talked about kind of how they got here. Again, flawless against Austria and North Macedonia. And we just saw today what a battle Austria gave Italy as well. You see the expected goals here. Hammered them. I'm not saying this is a similar opponent, but it's kind of a similar opponent. What was interesting to me about this match, and I actually pulled it up here, is they were actually willing to give up possession a little bit. We think of Frank de Boer and being conservative, letting his playmakers express themselves in the final third, but being very conservative, very organized at the back, and keeping possession. They defend with possession, but you see here, really the edge was to Austria slightly, 53%. Went for some more dangerous passes, which you can look at the pass map if we wanted to. But this heat map I thought was interesting. You guys can tell by now I'm big on heat maps. Also, shout out Fantasy Guru. Just noticed our ad is up there. That's our season-long site for football, baseball, and other sports. But look at this. 629 touches to 699. You see Austria advanced down their left side, Netherlands' right side. That's Denzel Dumfries. Okay, and he's the guy who's getting forward quite a bit. He's actually working into this area as well, trying to get on the back post as the Depay and Weghorst or Malen are occupying the center backs here. Austria had some success down this left side, but not a ton in the box here, obviously. If we go back to that match, just 9 shots from Austria. So really a bend but don't break kind of setup. Oop, I'm giving away the bet there for Holland against this Austrian team. It could be something similar here. We look at the Czechs run. It's a bit smoke and mirrors. They had the header in between 2 defenders and then the goal from half field against Scotland, the worst team in the group, apparently, even though I think they're better than the Czech Republic. They drew against Croatia, probably their best result, but their goal was from a penalty kick. Patrick Schick, 37th minute to take the lead, and really they didn't have a ton to do defensively. They're really, really solid against this Croatian team who we know starts slow. We saw their quality there at the end as Modric pushed forward and really started taking control of the match. But another solid team they're playing against and held them under a 1 goal expected. Only just 11 shots. And then, of course, England here gave up more possession, but only 5 shots. And so that's the thing I'm worried about here is we have a manager who's notorious for being conservative. We haven't seen it thus far. Holland has at least 2 goals in every single one of their games. But in a big moment like this, does he clinch the butt cheeks here, as I like to say, play more conservative, up that passing percentage with more square and negative passes to keep the ball against the Czech Republic, who isn't terrible in possession. Guys like Dorita, Janko, etc., really good with keeping the ball. And Schick obviously is a danger man up front. If Frank de Boer is worried about that, we might see a more conservative output from Holland. And frankly, the Czechs don't create a bunch, and I'm worried about them even getting on the score sheet here at all. So my main play is going to be under 2.5 goals, minus 104. Could see a 1-0, 2-0 win from Holland. I doubt that they boat rate this team, but who knows? If we get a goal early and the Czechs come out from that low block, perhaps we do. So under 2.5 is our main play here. If you're fine with the juice, I actually like minus 153. It should be about minus 175 here in my estimation for Holland in this match. So like Holland and the under there. Now, Belgium-Portugal. This is absolutely a clash of titans. If this was a final, would you be upset? Because I wouldn't. I'd watch this every day for the rest of my life if it was a replay. Excuse me, if it was a new game, not a replay. I'm not watching replays every single day. Too much other soccer and film to analyze here. The Trident is back. I'm not even sure Hazard is the best option in this spot. He's better than his brother for sure, but perhaps Carrasco comes back into the lineup, or maybe Hazard keeps his place and they let him do his thing. Kevin De Bruyne obviously has been brilliant since coming back, and Big Rom up top. Needs to get the ball more in dangerous areas. Good thing happened when he gets on the ball. And then, of course, the other side, Portugal. Cristiano, Mr. Thanos himself. He is inevitable. Silva, Jota leading the line. Moutinho could keep his place. Sanchez in here as well. But notice what's not in here. Bruno Fernandes. I expect him to be back in the first 11. If not, man, the whole reason they go to this, midfield 3, is to protect these two while still having progression. Sanchez more of a ball carrier, Moutinho more of a distributor, Pereira more of the destroyer. Kind of an old school midfield for Portugal, but unfortunately that doesn't leave a space for Bruno Fernandes. So really we have banks of 3, and these two will drop. Ronaldo will stay, but 4, 3, and then 2 right here, the kind of diamond formation defensively once they lose the ball. Diego Dallo would be an interesting piece here on the right side, but really not too many surprises with these predicted 11s here. Of course, Belgium 2-0 over Finland, 2-1 over Denmark. Had to come back. They were down 1-0, and then that 3-0 win from Russia. We saw it today with Italy a little bit. These teams that impressed early have maybe come back to the pack a little bit, and we have some who are growing into the tournament. I really thought Belgium would be on the front foot as they got Witsel and Kevin De Bruyne and Eden Hazard involved in the team. Perhaps the team play would increase. Perhaps the speed of play would increase. Perhaps the goals would increase. And look, they've scored 2 goals in every game. How mad can I really be? But when you expect perfection and basically the best team in the world, they've been shy of that. And I'm a touch worried about them heading into this match because this 2-0 win was comfortable in that they weren't ever going to score, but they didn't really create a ton against this Finland side. Denmark is playing really, really well with their 4-0 win today. Another win for the boys here on the show, but they're not Belgium, or they're not Portugal. They're not Portugal, and they really struggled with this Denmark side. Kevin De Bruyne enters the fray about right here, and as you can see, they get a little bit more of it, but still Denmark was creating as well. This Portuguese team, man, they're fun to watch because they score goals and they concede goals. 2 goals in each of their last 2, at least 4 against Germany here. And against Germany, this could have been 7, 2.64 on the expected goals. But they created a ton of big chances here, hit the woodwork once, had some counterattacks. Timo Werner, I think, came into the lineup, if I'm not mistaken. And Timo. Did he? Perhaps I'm making that up. Maybe he didn't. He didn't. Maybe I was thinking of the first game. But really, I thought Germany could have named their score, but then Portugal battled back. 2 goals. Of course, Cristiano scores as well. Took the lead, and randomly, a couple own goals there. But this game worries me in terms of Portugal's chances, obviously, to win the whole tournament, but they bounced back with their 2-2 win here against France. The point is, for as much solidity as they try to get with this lineup, and especially this midfield, they're not that solid at the back. Pepe is 38 years old. I love the guy to death, but Ruben Diaz, outside of this Man City system, has not looked like the Premier League player of the year. So they're certainly vulnerable at the back. Belgium, of course, can score with Lukaku, De Bruyne, Hazard. Meunier his brother, perhaps Carrasco over here. Maybe even Chadley, who played pretty well, could start off that left side here. But this is so solid through the middle, and this area is impressing forward. Where Belgium have issues is right here. For Tongan and Alderweireld, and I guess Boyata is probably their best back three. Age is an issue. Pace is an issue. I just don't really rate Boyata. He's kind of like a header merchant, and that's about it. Doesn't do a whole hell of a lot else. And Alderweireld has looked well shy of his best over the last 18 months, we'll call it. I think we see goals for either team. Why this is a lower total than the other game is beyond me, but I'll take over 2.25 as our bet here. Of course, half your bet's on 2, half your bet's on 2.5. You could certainly just grab the 2.5 as well and get plus 115 if you want to go that route. I think we can see 4 goals here. This is a game that could get 1-1, 2-2 type of feel heading into extra time like we saw with Italy today. But ultimately, I do see over 2.5 goals scored in this match. As for who's going to win, I actually lean Portugal. I lean Portugal slightly, but not enough to bet it here. Not enough value on the line for me. But that's it. 2-game slate for tomorrow, Sunday, June 27th. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. If you do, please drop a like on the video. And if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe as well. I am Duke. You can find me on Twitter at DukeDFS. Back at home. Feels good. We'll see you tomorrow with some more Euro 2020 action. Adios.